Now on the line is Andrew Barnes, the architect of 4-Day Week Global. Andrew, welcome to the program.
Hi, good to see you.
Alright, cool. Andrew, I know you were in Dublin last week. Can you give us a bit of a summary of the story behind the 4-Day Week Global idea before we talk about the campaign that was launched in Ireland last week?
Sure. Look, the idea came from reading an article that said that the Brits were only productive for 2.5 hours a day and the Canadians for 1.5. And I thought about that and thought maybe that applied to my business. And I wondered what would happen if I gave people a day off a week. Would that change their work behavior so that I would get the same productivity out of 4 days rather than 5? And that's where this started, a very simple idea. It was more academic interest than anything else. I wondered what would happen if, and I was sort of quietly surprised where it then took us. But that's where the idea started.
And there was a launch in Ireland last week of the Irish campaign for. Can you tell me a bit about how kind of the work you've done in other countries as well as Ireland over the last couple of years or whatever?
Yeah, sure. So what happened is after we did the trial, and the trial identified that we were just as productive in, 4 days rather than 5. And what I'm doing is I'm paying my staff 100% of their salary. They only have to work 40% of the hours, provided I get 100% of the productivity. We called it the 100-80-100 rule. So what then happened is suddenly the media got hold of it. And this developed into a media firestorm. We've done interviews now in 76 countries worldwide. The last time we stopped counting, I think there were over 4,000 radio, TV, media stories, digital. We stopped counting somewhere into double-figure thousands. And what that said to me is that this is an issue. How we work today is an issue wherever you go in the world. And then after the media, suddenly companies started to reach out and said to us, can you help us to put a 4-day week in place? And probably the most interesting and surprising one was that the Prime Minister of Russia name-checked the trial and said he thought that was the future for Russia. And then about 6 weeks ago, the Russian legislature started to debate and draft legislation to bring in a 4-day week into Russia.
That's brilliant, yeah. Can you fill us in on some of the details about the launch in Ireland last week? I know you were. I saw publicity of the campaign launch in Ireland in the Irish Times.
Sure.
If you go on, yeah.
Yeah, so we were invited to come to Ireland by Forsa, the Public Service Union, and really what Forsa had done is they had also followed the story worldwide. And what they decided to do was to bring together a coalition of business, and that's represented by the ICE Group in Ireland out of Galway, which I think is the first company in Ireland to would have adopted a 4-day week. Women's groups, Friends of the Earth, ourselves representing sort of the international community. And what they're trying to do is bring together a coalition of interested parties, because this is not just an issue for the left of politics, for unions and workers. It's actually also a beneficial strategy for businesses. And obviously that's partly where I'm coming from. I think that makes an awful lot of sense. And so what we're trying to do in Ireland is get this broad coalition together so there can be an informed and measured debate about bringing in a 4-day week into Ireland.
And do you have any plans or news over the next few months with 4-day week global? Any interesting plans or anything?
Well, yeah, what we're doing now is we are rolling out a global accreditation program, and we're doing that because, to put it bluntly, I can't drink that much coffee. You get people phoning up all the time from all over the world and saying, can I have a coffee? We have a chat? And we want to know how to put this in place. So what we're doing is we're creating a network of consultants. What they are in turn going to do is help raise money for our 2 new charitable foundations, which we have launched to fund global research. So at the same time, we're working with a network of universities around the world to support research into the benefits of a 4-day week and flexible working. And the idea really is that we want to encourage companies and governments to make the leap, but of course they won't do that unless they have independent evidence that this works. And so that's what we're trying to do now.
Sounds like a very good idea. I watched your TEDx talk on YouTube there a couple of days ago. I know it was very good. And I interviewed a representative from the ICE group yesterday in the Irish language. So I've been reading up about your work over the last few days. Very good,
Well, look, I think that the real issue here is that as the way we work today is a modern construct. It's, in some countries, it's probably less than 50 years old. And so what we've got to do is say there are big issues facing the world. We have a mental health epidemic in our workforce. 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people are suffering from stress or mental health issues, often largely induced by work. We have a climate change issue. If you can take 20% of the cars off the road every single day, or maybe 40% if you add in flexible working, that is a major beneficial contributor to reducing emissions. If in fact you can encourage people to take time off, it actually also goes to address issues like gender pay, because suddenly you're not talking about time, you're talking about productivity, and also the ability of women to get to the C-suite, because suddenly it's okay also to work part-time hours, even if you're producing the full amount. So the one thing that the 4-day week does is it changes the equation. It changes the conversation about how we work today. And I think if we actually approach it with an open mind, we might find that its impact on society, on our world, is actually quite material. And it is something that we can do now. It's therefore something we should really try, really consider it. Both governments, companies, and workers.
You're doing great work, Andrew. I have to say, fair play to you, Okay, Andrew, it was great talking to you on radio on Near FM. I'll be talking to you again at some stage in the future, So good luck anyway.
All right.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Thanks very much.
All right, bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.